my night owls. Okay, so this happened, I think, a week ago or a couple days ago. I can't remember. But my mom and I always go to Dunkin' Donuts to get hot cocoa and coffee. I get hot cocoa, she gets coffee. And we were on our way to do the newspapers. And I was like sitting there and I was drinking my hot cocoa, and I looked down and the paper was wet, and I'm like, oh, the paper's wet. I'm like, how did that happen? Because the top was on and everything, it didn't leak or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, the paper's wet, why? I was so confused. I'm like, whatever, it'll dry before it has to be delivered to one of the customers. So I was sitting there and I'm like, oh, I'm thirsty, so I drank some more hot cocoa. And all of a sudden, this thing, it was like completely black in the car because we go to do the newspaper at 1 a.m. in the morning, and it was completely pitch black in the car, and I drank my hot cocoa, and all of a sudden this thing falls and onto the newspaper, and I thought, oh my god, I just dropped hot cocoa onto the newspaper, and I was kind of freaking out. So I put the hot cocoa down, and I turned on the light, and I looked down, and it was a penny. A penny. I'm like, where did this penny come from? I was so confused. I'm like, I picked up the penny, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, wait, this dropped out of my hot cocoa. I thought it fell out of my hot cocoa. It didn't fall out of my hot cocoa. It fell from underneath my hot cocoa. It had stuck to the bottom of my hot cocoa. So when I went to drink it and put it down, it fell and plopped down onto the papers. I thought it was inside my hot cocoa and it came out of my hot cocoa and onto the papers. So I was all confused and I was like half awake, half asleep. I was just so tired. I was so confused. I'm like, oh my god, was I drinking penny hot cocoa or something? I don't know. I was just like freaking out. And I looked at my mom, I'm like, Mom, this fell out of my hot cocoa. And she looked and she's like, that's a penny, Alicia. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like, it fell out of my hot cocoa. And she's like, Alicia, I don't think it fell out of your hot cocoa. It fell off the bottom of your hot cocoa. It was in where the little cup holder was. And when I set my hot cocoa on it, it had stuck to the bottom. And when I took it and picked it up and drank it, it fell off my bottom of the hot cocoa. I don't know. I was like half awake, half asleep. I was tired. I just wanted to get the papers done and over with. I was focusing mostly just on doing the papers, getting it done and over with. And then all of a sudden, that penny falling out of nowhere is just like blew my mind. Like, oh my god, was it inside my hot cocoa this whole entire time? No, it was at the bottom of your hot cocoa, Alicia. I found it to be very funny and interesting. And then there's another story, because this video is going to be super short if I end it now, and I don't want to be having a short video. Another story I want to tell you is, around the same time, we got done with the papers, and we went to Walmart. Okay, I am half awake, half asleep. I am freaking tired as hell. I just want to go home, go to sleep. But we had to go to Walmart and get some stuff. I think it was for Christmas. So we were doing Christmas shopping. And so I was sitting there, and this guy named Matt that my mom and I know from our fire department. I was in the fire department. I wasn't like on the fire side. I was on the auxiliary side. And Matt comes around the corner, and we almost like run into each other. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I'm like, "No, it's alright. It was my fault." So we went our separate ways. And Mom looks at me, and she's like, "Alicia, you didn't say hi to Matt?" And I'm like, I did say hi to Matt. Oh, I didn't say hi to Matt. So I got out of the aisle. I went out of the aisle that I just went in, and I yelled, "Hi, Matt!" like really loud. And my mom's like, and he's like, "Hi, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing good. How are you?" And he's like, "I'm doing good." And then he went down the aisle that he was turning into, and I walked back into the aisle that I just came out of, and I'm just sitting there. Mom's just standing there like, oh my god. And I'm like, what? I said hi to Matt. And she's like, yeah, did you seriously have to yell it? And I'm like, yeah, I did. I was half awake. I was just exhausted, not thinking. I was just tired. And so when she told me that I didn't say hi to Matt, I'm like, first thing that came to mind is to go out and yell, "Hi, Matt." It was just like really funny. And my mom and I just sat in the aisle laughing. I was laughing, and Mom was laughing. She was just like, oh my god, this is my daughter. I just felt like, yep, this is me. I don't know, I was tired, and I was just like, not thinking. It turned out to be funny though. We sat there and laughed, and then we finished up doing whatever, and then we came back here and went to bed. But anyways, that's the end of this video, my night owls. I was only going to tell you about the penny one, but I'm like, that's going to be too short of a video, so I decided to merge 2 stories into one. But anyways, that's the end of this video, my night owls. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see all you beautiful night owls tomorrow. Goodbye.